So, good morning, everyone. My name is Lori Ware, and this is Unique Genius in 33 on this incredible 19th day of February 2020. And we are so excited to have as our guest today, Miss Amy Goodson. Thank you for joining us, Amy.
Thank you for inviting me. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. I'm sorry.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you. So happy to have you. So today, Amy and I are going to focus on the learner theme. It happens to be her number one, and it also happens to be the second most prevalent theme in the top five of people worldwide. So 29% of people, the 23 million-ish people who have completed this assessment around the world have this theme. So if it's not resident within your top five, then you likely know and love someone whose top five it is resident within. So we're very, very excited to explore this. According to Gallup, people exceptionally talented in the learner theme have a great desire to learn and want to continuously improve. It's the process of learning rather than the outcome that excites them. Is that true for you, Amy?
That is very true. You hit the nail right on the head with that one.
You know, it's so fun to me to watch Learner through. You and I've known each other for a minute
Mhm.
now, and my business partner Sherry Strong has Learner in her top five, and I have so much gratitude for the agility that the Learner theme gives people I know and love. Because there's absolutely nothing that you cannot do, because any little whisper of how does that happen, or just that inquisitive curiosity compels you to learn, and it's almost like there's an emotional component to it. Is
That I
Yeah.
would say that's very true.
Yeah, like there's a charge, there's a buzz of getting to learn something new. I get to witness often with Sherry. There's a giddiness. She will actually giggle about the opportunity to learn something new. So, really, really appreciate this theme. So excited about exploring it through your lens. But before we go down that path, would you please share with us a little bit about you personally, professionally, and share your top five with us as well?
Absolutely. My name is Amy Goodson. I am the Assistant Vice President at Service One Credit Union in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I have been in the financial industry for just about a year now. So, believe it or not, my learner is on fire because I'm learning a lot of new things right now. Prior to that, I was in human resources in manufacturing for about 20 years. So,
Wow.
a lot of experience with manufacturing. But this is a whole new ball game I've started. And as Lori said, I'm really excited because I'm learning a lot every day and just so anxious to get to work every day because I know I'm going to learn something new. So, other than that, personally, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a grandmother, and of course, my grandkids are the two best in the whole wide world.
Of
Uh,
course.
but yes, so life is great. My top five are learner, achiever, responsibility, input, and individualization.
Oh, what a powerhouse. What a powerhouse top five.
Good and bad sometimes.
Love it, love it. So thanks for sharing a little bit with us, and so let's dive into the learner theme
Okay.
and explore it a bit. So, what do you love most about learner and how it shows up in your life?
It was really eye-opening for me the first time that I found out what my top five were. I knew that learning was something that I always had a passion about, but I had no idea that it would come as the number one. It really is, as you said earlier, it's the process of learning something new that really excites me. And it's not always, as people might think, it's not always that I learn it just strictly for personal reasons.
Mhm.
I love the learner process because I'm always looking to learn something new. But in many cases, it's okay, well, I can put that back because somebody might need that someday. And that's
Mm.
where my input kicks in.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not always for my own personal development, which I guess in a way it is, as I'm learning it myself too, but it's so that I can help others.
Yeah.
And I have to watch myself sometimes because I can get so excited about learning something new, that I can find myself taking 5 different online classes, and it can be overwhelming because I could be looking at project management to yoga. I mean, it can be completely different things. I'm learning it, so here we go, so
Yeah.
it is something very emotional, very exciting about just having the opportunity to learn.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You express it so beautifully, and I love that. Just the diversity
Mhm.
of what intrigues you and the paths that you go down, and how it plays with your input. And storing that information away so that you can serve the world.
Yeah.
Is my observation of you, with that information when its time is right and perfect.
Mhm.
So, what we know, Amy, is that these themes serve us in mammoth ways,
Absolutely.
and each of them, has needs,
Mhm.
and so we become more and more aware of the environment we need to surround ourselves in, et cetera, to meet the needs. So you not having opportunity to learn would be like being without oxygen.
It would, absolutely.
So I'm curious, is there ever a time um, where where the learner theme makes you a little crazy, right? Where the demands of it are a little challenging.
It can be, and as you said that, an example came to mind. I don't know if anyone has ever seen the website Future Learn. But it's an amazing platform where different universities around the world offer classes, and many of them are free.
Oh,
And it
nice.
is amazing. And when I first came across it, I was looking for something in particular. And by the end of the time I was on that session on the computer, I think I had 25 classes in my wish list.
Whoa.
And, I'm thinking, oh, they're all free. I can do them. And I was studying everything from European culture, um,
Wow.
to financial project management. I had Jane Austen history studies, and then I had Spanish classes. And I got to a point where I was so overwhelmed and just really getting frustrated because I didn't have enough time in the day.
Hmm.
And my learner was like, this is free. You have to take advantage of this. There's
Yeah.
all this information out there and you must do it now. So I can really get in over my head sometimes when it comes with the learner because none of it was going to help me at work at the time. None of it was really anything that could help me in my personal life. It's just that desire to learn, and I had found this amazing new outlet, so I have to be careful with it sometimes.
Well, wow. For one, thank you for sharing Future Learn with us. For all the learners out there, I can assure you
Mhm.
they are already on
Love
the
it.
site right now.
Mhm.
And it's very interesting. You understand our process and our methodology around
Mhm.
the way that we help people embrace and apply and develop their themes. And so, um, what you described is part of the compulsive nature of
Mhm.
learner, right?
Right.
It's like more, 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 more,
Mhm.
and I can imagine too when you described to me that it's like you have to then, right? It's like
Mhm.
you've identified it, now you have to. And so I hear your responsibility and your achiever too, right?
Yes.
That
Mhm.
are
Yeah.
teaming up with that learner.
That can
So
that can cause me some issues too because my achiever is there and I want to do it, but the
mhm,
responsibility kicks in going, okay, now you've signed up to do it, you must finish.
that's right. Yeah,
So I think
you've
some inner conflicts there too.
yes, yes. Oh, I wish we had tons of time to explore all of those dynamics. I truly do. And we're gonna stay. We're gonna stay focused on learner.
Oh, thank you.
But it's just they all play together. They don't act in a silo. And so it's always intriguing when the
Mhm.
conversation just kind of shows up in that way. Where they're um, so doing a dance together. Um, Curious, Amy, do you have a like? Can you recall the earliest memory in your childhood of when this showed up for you? This incredible desire and passion around the process of learning.
I've thought about that as we've gone through this strengths experience together. And I was always a child. I've always been interested in learning. I was always, the so called nerd in school.
Mhm.
But if I think back to it, I remember being in sixth grade and getting the privilege to go on to a historical society field trip to a university, and they had all these different booths and all these different topics that you could learn about. And I remember being frustrated at the end of that day because we only had an allotted amount of time, and there was so much more there that I still wanted to learn before the
Mhm.
bus was leaving to head back. And I think about that quite often. And I thought, okay, well, now I know that that was my learner really
Mhm.
trying to, grasp everything that was there at one time. I can even remember, as a child, my most valuable possession was my library card.
Oh, wow.
And I kept it everywhere with me. And I remember getting to the point where I was old enough to drive and looking at my new wallet going, okay, well, where do I put my library card? Because now my driver's license has to go here.
And this is important real estate.
It is very important to
Uh-huh.
me, So yeah, that's probably the first time I can think back to really noticing something, that really stuck out with my learner.
Oh, that's so crazy cool. And
Yeah.
it's so funny as you were describing that and almost missing the bus, it
Mhm.
took me back to when we met on that trip to Scotland.
Mhm.
And we were so curious, right? And we
Mhm.
we wanted to explore the area and almost missed the bus
Yep,
because
we did. We
because
were
we
running.
we had not had enough yet, right?
Exactly.
More, more, more.
That's true.
Oh, I love that you have that kind of recall of that, and even your what sounds like devotion to your library card,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Because that was the key
yeah.
to the gateway to your
Mhm.
having unlimited access to all kinds of learning opportunities.
Yes.
That's really, really nice. So we touched a little bit about how your talents play together,
Mhm.
support each other in your success. But let's take a closer look at that as to maybe in your role or in your personal life. Um, how do your talents support learner and vice versa
Mhm.
in your experience of love and life?
Yeah, I think for me, I've always been interested in the training, HR, life coach part of my career. And for me, the learner really helps drive each one of those. Even, where I'm at now, my new position is about people and culture and really, working toward changing the culture. So for me, it's okay. I get to do the research and learning about where they've been as an organization and then figure out what the best thing is to go forward. As a life coach, it's been, what can I do to help other people realize their dreams and their goals? And for me, that's a lot of learning and research. In a previous role with a manufacturer, I worked with you guys, and we did training with our manufacturing associates. And that was probably one of the best times at that organization because we used our strengths, genius information, our top 5 strengths to really connect with the people who are actually working on the production line. We
Mhm.
brought them in and did the strengths training with them. And the look on their face, the comments that they were saying after they found out and went through and learned their top five, it was so touching
Mhm.
to see how
Mhm.
it really connected with them.
Yeah.
And, guys who, we're talking, production guys, they
Yeah.
don't talk about the feelings. They don't, they don't want to get into this mushy soft skills training stuff.
Mhm.
But at the end, they were so proud. They knew
Yeah.
their top five. They knew how they could help each other. And I even had one guy that came back and said, I couldn't wait to get home and tell my wife about my top five. And he was wrong. I really do have some good strengths. So it was just, and the more we did that in the organization, it was so just touching to see how engaged they were
Mhm.
and to hear them talk about it on a daily basis after these trainings, and for them to see how they really could help each other in the organization. It's probably one of the best memories I've had with that. So,
Oh, thank you for sharing that, Amy. I can tell you that Sherry and I had the same experience. You know,
mhm,
we get to witness people discovering what is oh so right with them on a regular basis, and it is incredibly fulfilling. And the majority of our work is typically with leadership teams and or middle management and more of a top down approach. And what we see is like what you just described. You know, when you make an investment in your front line, they don't often have the opportunity to really
right.
explore their personal development and when they share what this has meant to them, it is moving. I mean, it's moving to tears.
Mhm,
um, I recall at one point during our session, I came out and into your office because I needed a minute to collect myself
mhm,
because I was so moved by a young man's
mhm.
conversation around how this was going to make him a better dad. And
Absolutely.
we so thank you again for the privilege of working with you in that capacity because it was very meaningful, continues to be very meaningful
Mhm,
for us. So appreciate that. Um, so curious,
mhm,
you talked a little bit about sometimes your talent themes being in conflict with each
mhm.
other.
Yes.
Would you like to say more about that?
Yeah, I think it really is for me. It is those top three that tend to be in conflict with each other. It's my learner, my achiever, and my responsibility. Because I do love the process of learning. And
Mhm.
again, my achiever, I want to do more and more and more. But my responsibility tells me to slow down, take a step back, and finish what you started first. So I really have to watch those in
Mhm.
combination together. I'll be honest, my learner usually wins. But I do have to manage those quite closely.
Well, and you know, and just becoming aware
Oh yeah.
of the fact that you know, these are naturally occurring patterns, you know,
Hmm.
of our thoughts that lead to our feelings, that lead to our behaviors, and knowing that, and then having the opportunity to really discern
Right.
how you calibrate those,
Hmm.
right? Because learner in its raw state looks a whole lot different than
Really.
learner in its refined state, and so I appreciate you sharing that you are in very conscious management
Oh yeah.
of those themes uh, to ensure your success, and as we would say that they truly are strengths, you know,
They
that
are.
they're productive both for you and for everybody around you,
Mhm,
and having witnessed who you are and how you are for a few years now,
mhm.
it's real clear that you have solid mastery of your themes and that you use them very conscientiously and purposeful and intentionally, and so
Well, thank you.
um,
It could be a strength that I could quickly turn into a weakness. I mean, I could easily sit back and be a full-time student the rest of my life. So I have to watch that.
yes, I can appreciate that, right?
Yes.
I can totally appreciate that. So One of the questions we always like to ask is, what do you wish other people knew about this theme? We all live in our own brand of common sense,
Mhm.
and we've lived our lives making assumptions that just because it's our common sense that it's everybody else's too.
Mhm.
And what we know is that our perspective and our approaches are as unique as our thumbprint.
Mhm.
So, as at someone who's number one is the learner thing, what would you want people to know? What do you think would help with communication, or just staying in the flow and not having disconnects with people, if you will? What would you love for them to know about it?
Yeah, I think some misconceptions sometimes about learners that I have experienced is, oh, they just want another degree, they want another certification. It's just about, the letters behind their name or the acronyms that they want to add to their list. And it's really not that at all. For
Mm,
me, it truly is the process of learning. And for me personally, I don't know about all learners, but for me personally, again, I want to learn to better myself, but to also
mhm.
help other people. And the key for me is really to help other people. I don't need to put the letters behind my name. I don't need the list of, degrees or certifications.
Mhm.
It's how can I take this and improve our world, improve our local, situation, our community, my friends, my family. How can I, as an individual, better serve them by
Mhm.
taking what I've learned and helping them improve their lives, their mental well being, their financial well being, whatever it is that I can do.
Yeah.
Um, that's what I really feel that I really focus on my learner for. It's Most people really think it's a selfish thing. People really want to learn more just to, improve their own lives. But for me, it has nothing to do with that at all.
Mm,
It's
mm.
just the process of learning and how can I use it to help other people.
Yeah. So it's not about the outcome.
No,
It's about the process, and gathering information that helps you serve other people.
absolutely.
Um, so it's so interesting. I have such appreciation for all of your themes. But the way that your input and your learner
Mhm.
work together is really beautiful.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah,
Um, Thank you for sharing that. And I mean, I think anybody who's watching this, it will be palpable that's how you're wired, and that it really is all geared to service. Um, there's some, as you were speaking, and I could just almost hear this kind of constant question mark about how can I use it, and who will
Mhm.
this serve, and um, what other information do I have that would augment this, and how could we use this to solve X, Y, and Z, and um, in preparation for these interviews, I often check out um, uh, Gallup's theme shorts through by Kurt Liebsfeld, who is no longer with us, but just an integral part of this body of research, and he used to come up with gestures for the
Okay.
themes, and so his gesture for the theme is like, just kind of right, just scratching the head. What can we do with this?
Mhm.
And when you consider that you have intellection as well, intellection is about stretching ideas,
Mhm.
right? So you are just instinctively wired for innovation
Mhm.
in how to use information and learning, and all resources, right?
Right.
All resources.
Right.
So I love there's a contrast that I think is interesting, that is around learner and input.
Mhm.
So, and a lot of times these are to help people understand the differences between them. Sometimes the likenesses in the dynamics piece, um, but learner is clearly about enjoying the process. Input's about the content.
Right.
Yeah, the content and the tools. and the tools. Like your
Mhm.
library card was a
Yeah,
tool.
it's a
You
very
know,
good tool.
all of those books, tools,
Mhm.
websites, future learn,
Right,
tool, right? Tool in your toolkit.
mhm,
So they're amplifying each other,
right,
and then where learner can be, um, because it's not always about completing a body of knowledge. It's about getting what you need and moving
yes,
forward. It can be kind of externally focused and
mhm,
like a quick
yes,
hit of information, where intellection is more internal.
mhm,
So that's that deep internal understanding it. So, Amy, do you find yourself in need um, of space and time to be quiet and just let your mind
yeah,
marinate?
oh, yes. If I don't have that, I feel completely off balance,
Hmm.
completely off balance. So I have to have that time, that kind of downtime to gather everything together, and really get my thoughts together, or it's just not a good week for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's common. That's very, very common for folks who have high strategic thinking themes, but in
Mhm,
particular intellection.
mhm.
I have a coaching client who always shares that he's his best company, and and he likes to take his best company out for coffee,
Yes.
and just sit and ponder.
Mhm.
So I'm glad to hear that you make time and take time to do that.
I learned to do that. It's an acquired thing over time. You learn that you need that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's part of that self awareness
Mhm.
piece that strengths give us a language
Yes.
to wrap our understanding around. So yay you. Yay you. I aspire to it. I'm learning. I'm
Mhm.
learning to do that with more regularity. So totally honor
I'll see
that.
if I can find you some tools to help
Yeah,
you.
I bet you've got it. Bet you've got one or 10. We'll have that conversation offline. I don't know though. Other people may be going, wait, we want to be a part of that. We want some Amy tools in our toolkit. Um, so let's see. Whoa, wow, man, time flies when
I
we
know
have
it always does. We have fun.
so quickly. Just so let me ask you one more thing, or let me, yeah. So when we think about nouns that
Mhm.
describe learner, um, three that come to mind for me are like student,
Mhm.
um, explorer,
Mhm.
discoverer. Do any of those resonate with you?
Yes, it's funny that you say that. I don't have it with me today. I wish I had my water cup with me, but I have a water cup that has stickers on it. And one of them says Explorer, and the other one says Discover the World.
Oh,
So you were perfect on those.
oh, that is, my connectedness is just fired up
You
about
were on
that.
fire today.
Yeah, I am loving that. I'm loving that.
Mhm.
Um, and the three that came to mind for me for adjectives around learner are studious,
Mhm.
um, passionate,
Yes.
and competent.
Mhm. I would say so.
So all three of those resonate too. Score.
Yes.
Well, and know that as I was thinking through this, I had you in mind,
Mhm.
as I thought through these, and just some of the adjectives and nouns and adjectives that I so honor in how you show up in the world. I just do.
Yeah.
Um, Lastly, just for fun,
Sure.
so when you think about learner,
Mhm.
is there a character, a superhero, somebody famous that you think really embodies the learner theme, and why do you think that?
I do. Uh, as a young student, you always have to write reports and papers and things like that on people that you admire. And I had to do some research. This is fifth or sixth grade, about the same time I was on that field trip, probably. But I came across someone that I really felt connected to,
Mm.
and that person is Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, wow.
The reason I did, he was born in Kentucky. I was born in Kentucky. But he was born to a very poor family and he was completely self educated.
Mm.
And I remember reading a story about him and how he was so fond of the library. And I thought, that's me. I'm always at the library. I love the library. I volunteer at the library. And to see where he came from and to be completely self-educated to become a lawyer and then to later become a president, who in my opinion is one of the best presidents we've had,
Mhm.
and to really make huge changes in our country like he did. And he learned it all on his own. Most people thought, in his time that he was very frail and he wasn't a hardworking man because he didn't really get into the strenuous activities that most boys his age did. He would rather be somewhere reading a book. And to see what he came from going through, those type of things, and to the changes that he made in our country is just unbelievable. So he's a learner hero. Um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's, I too have so much admiration for him,
Hmm.
and and how he developed himself, and the way that he led.
Hmm.
He's such a great study um, in how you can have incredible impact, starting
Right.
with yourself, right?
Right.
So, oh, thank you for that. I love that. Amy and Abe.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll take that.
You'll take that? Yeah, for sure. In good company, both of you in good
Yes.
company.
Thank you.
So, we are winding down on our 33 minutes, and so I just want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I've realized that you guys are in the midst of a major implementation, and I'm so grateful um, that we were able to carve out, that you were able to carve out this time to share what learner looks like for you, and to share in such an articulate and beautiful way what fuels your learner, and that being your wanting to serve others. And so, as an HR professional, I am just in awe. Not that I am one, but I am in awe of the way that you work in that field, and how you serve in your role, and your commitment to the employees that you serve, and the credit union as well. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
And we will be posting this on strongcommunities.coach, so that if anybody missed any part of this, they can go back and listen to it. And we'll also send out a link in our To the Top Tuesday email that each of you get. And so, if you want to learn more about your strengths, or more about how you can have better personal and business outcomes by using a strengths based approach, then we invite you to reach out to us at admin@strongcommunities.coach. Amy Goodson, you're the bomb.
Back at you, and
Uh,
I encourage everybody to reach out to strongcommunities.com. Completely has changed my life. So
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. It's an
thank
honor to be with you.
you
Look
too.
forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, everybody have a great day.
You too, dear. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.